Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's Friday, and it's our Quote of the Week. And our Quote of the Week today is brought to you once again by Little Drummer Boy Recordings at 818 South Street here in Philadelphia, PA, as well as Pete and Son Home Remodeling, also here in Philadelphia, PA. Our quote today is from Paul Coelho, the author. The quote goes like this. And one has to understand that braveness is not the absence of fear, but rather the strength to keep on going forward despite the fear. Let's read that again. And one has to understand that braveness is not the absence of fear, but rather the strength to keep on going forward despite the fear. So what does this mean? I think it's clear that bravery is a little bit more than just standing in the face of danger. That's real. I think, especially when you're thinking about the kind of maybe professions that people do where danger is inherent in the role, like firefighting or rescue stuff, where you're hanging out of a helicopter and you're trying to rescue somebody off of a cliff who's stranded there, and you're in danger and they're in danger. There's bravery, I think, that's involved. And I know, for one, I have a fear of heights, so I would never do anything as a profession like that. I might attempt to do that if I needed to save somebody I loved, should I have the means to do that. But I wouldn't be so brave as to say I want that as a profession. And yet there are people who have that kind of capacity inherently to be able to do things like that. And I think, Paul Coelho here is saying that, the idea that not having fear is a value of bravery. I honestly think that he's also saying that lacking the fear is lacking an emotion, an emotional relevant thing, that part of your being that makes it so that you can course correct and adapt. And so, the true bravery is standing in the face of fear and pushing forward anyway. And whether that is hanging from a helicopter and trying to save somebody, or something as simple as putting together a project and making sure that you move through that project a little bit at a time, maybe every day, as often as possible, recognizing that there's a fear of something. And I've listened to people who talk about these types of things, and there's one sort of I think a thread that I've been following, I've been watching and listening to, and that is that the fear is not a failure necessarily. The fear is sometimes, maybe oftentimes, of succeeding, because then once you have arrived, once you have accomplished that thing, write that book, and you've published it, now what? Or you've written that song and it makes you a success. It's that one song that catapults you to the prominence that might allow you to get more record deals and have more people at your shows. Are you afraid of that? I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of us are afraid of success. So we don't even start. We fear the idea of the obstacles, for sure. I think that's real. And there's this fear of succeeding, and then what? So I think it goes both ways. The idea that the absence of fear is it shouldn't be a real thing. Maybe in that Will Smith movie where he and his son were expressing no fear to be able to be the kind of hunter-killers that they were in that sci-fi movie I can't remember the name of. Or Green Lantern, for example, the man without fear, which is why he got that power ring and was able to proceed. I don't really believe that he didn't have fear. I don't believe that the Lantern Corps didn't have fear. And if you watch some of the animated movies, you'll see that they can get pretty scary and have fear, and the fear is the killer, right? So the idea is not necessarily to not have the fear; it's to control it. And I think that's what our friend Paul Coelho is saying here. How do you control that fear enough to be able to move in the face of it and do the thing that you set out to do? That's very important to you in your life, in your profession, or whatever it is that you may be needing to do. So that's the quote of the week. Let me know what you think about it. Definitely check out our sponsors, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay hydrated.